Good Friday. It's a great Friday, actually. A great Friday because we're potting. A little bonus edition for you because I didn't realize it was Friday last night when I said, hey, what time are we potting? I'm a day out this week, everyone. So I'm sorry, but thank you for joining me. I'll be very lonely here by myself, much like a certain somebody was 2,000 years ago. Although I guess he had a couple of mates either side of him, right?
Yeah. Was that nailed down as your opener?
Oh
no.
That just came to me, Dubs, actually.
Don't
Hey,
crucify him, Dubs. Don't crucify Sharms.
Let's make fun of Christianity.
No.
No?
No.
Hey, cross that off your list.
Hot cross buns.
Speaking of buns.
There's no Craig Forrest.
Oh, because of his nice tush? Is that why?
Where is he? Where is Craig?
Doing squats.
He's behind JC. The original JC. No.
That's right.
Not the original JC.
For the listeners, when we say he's behind JC, what we mean is JC has him in his virtual background. And it's good. That's actually a really great picture of Craig.
Craig is a very attractive man. Like, he photographs incredibly well. He's a beautiful specimen.
He's a specimen.
Oh, yeah.
That's precisely what he is. He's a specimen.
Well, it's amazing that 5'2" of torso and like 1'3" of leg. It's wild.
When that turtle Michelangelo was carving David, he was actually carving Craig Forrest. Some specimen. And listen, Jimmy's seen Craig naked in the shower. He's seen Craig in all his glory. And I'm sure you can attest what a specimen Craig really is. Hey, Jimmy?
Yeah. Yes, I can. I can tell you exactly what he's like. It's kind of like, if you ever go to, those beautiful cathedrals and they got the archangels carved out of stone. And then they have the little willies.
So, David.
The baby fountains.
Is he cherubic?
He's the opposite of cherubic, right?
No, the big man's doing well for himself. He's in proportion.
Oh, wow.
All right. Oh, it is a great Friday for sure. I don't know where today's show is going to go exactly, but we were just talking actually about Jesse Marsch. Is it official he was given a 2-match ban? Missing the first 2 games of the Gold Cup is official. So, because it's competitive, the He Believes Cup isn't considered competitive?
I think because it's a Concacaf tournament. I mean, it's all under the jurisdiction of Concacaf, but it's not maybe viewed as an official competition.
Oh, okay.
Is that fair?
Totally makes sense. Yeah, it tracks, right? I don't know if it's been legislated or whatever.
No, because Canada's sanctioned. Canada Soccer would have sanctioned the He Believes because it's teams outside of Concacaf, Ukraine, New Zealand, Ivory Coast. I mean, I should probably have done some research before bringing it up. I saw someone mention it on Twitter. He's been banned, so I'm assuming it's correct. But you were saying, Dubs, that they are actually appealing the ban, right?
Yeah, they released a statement that says, quote, "We are frustrated by and strongly disagree with today's decision by the CONCACAF Disciplinary Committee to add an extra game to Jesse Marsch's suspension. We are reviewing the matter further and communicating with CONCACAF."
Was that email?
So that means gesturing wildly whenever you're communicating with CONCACAF.
Are they admonishing CONCACAF for admonishing Jesse Marsch?
Yes.
They love the word admonishing.
Instead of a mutual admiration society, it's a mutual admonishing society.
Yes. Was it emailed, that statement? I can't see it.
I saw it TSN on their Twitter, and also Shinetti, Matthew Shinetti.
So maybe they got their private statement from Canada Soccer. Perhaps that's what it was. Anyway, regardless, do you guys now think it was silly that he got sent off and that he shouldn't have done that? I know you guys are all defending and stuff and how great it was and how he just brought the passion to the players. And now they're losing for 2 games. Do you want to just reconsider, Jimmy, your opinion on that fateful night in the States all those weeks ago?
No, I think it was warranted. Obviously frustrated. And yeah, listen, you as a manager, and you never want to get sent off in a match, do you? Because at the end of the day, you've still got to be there for your players and support them. You're the one that's got to really kind of control your emotions at times and not get carried away. But we know what CONCACAF's like. Dubs, you've played in it. Forrest has played in it. It's very, very frustrating at times. Very frustrating. And obviously, they weren't happy with his actions and give him a 2-match ban. But it'd be interesting to see what happens with the appeal. I mean, will they get anything from it, or will CONCACAF be like, no, we're making an example of this because we want to stop it. So you're getting 2-match ban and that's it.
It might stay as a 2-match ban, but I think this is Canada soccer standing up for Jesse Marsch, standing up for the players, standing up for themselves as a federation. And I view Jesse Marsch, and obviously hindsight is 2020. If he'd known it was going to be a 2-match ban, he probably wouldn't have done it. And he even said himself that the only miscalculation he made, that he should have had that reaction for the first penalty. So again, that's the benefit of hindsight, and be a perspective, perhaps, like get you out of that moment where you're a little bit more myopic and a little bit more reactive. But I think it was the right thing. I agree with Jimmy. You never want to get sent off, but I think that it was a calculated decision to stand up for his players, to show that he felt like they were being kind of screwed in the moment, and screwed by CONCACAF, as Canada continually is. So he stood up. And so I think it was well worth it. I hope that is not a 2-match ban, but I think I agree with that reaction.
I'm going to say it's going to be a 1-match ban followed by 1 game suspended ban. They love their suspended bans. Just football.
When did that come up recently? It was maybe in European football where it was downgraded to that. And I was like, what does that mean exactly?
Just means behave yourself, and then we'll let it go.
It's a little slap on the wrist.
Yeah. Trying to make a Jesus joke there, but
Better than a nail.
Didn't come to me. We know what we were going to talk about actually was just kind of following the theme of this Easter weekend. Is the one athlete or footballer or whoever that you wish you could bring back from the dead right now?
For 3 days.
In their prime. Like I'm not saying bring them back the old version. Yeah, for 3 days. The old version. Right? You know, I don't want to bring back Pele at 80. Although I would, obviously, if I could. But I'd rather bring back Pele at 23 or 24 or 17 from 57 World Cup, for example. But is there someone that jumps off the page? Like, yeah, that guy or girl, I want them. I want them back.
I think for me, it's...
Yeah,
go on, Jimmy. You go.
Maradona. Probably when he was about 28 years old.
Party Maradona or footballer Maradona?
Like just animal.
Both.
World footballer, partier.
Just
3
days
tag
of
along for a
Maradona?
couple of days and see what this cat's all about.
In Napoli?
Yeah, in Napoli.
Yeah. That would be fun, wouldn't it? To see him dominate the Serie A on the weekend and then hang out with his mates who, shall we say, have some questionable character, but have the key to the city.
Did you ever watch the documentary of him when he was at Dorados, when he was a head coach?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got to watch it. It's incredible. He becomes a head coach, okay? And it's one of the biggest drug cities in America. And he gets his team. He comes in, does a little bit of preseason, and then he goes missing. Goes missing for months. And the season started, and they have no idea where he is. And then just one day, randomly, he just shows up at training.
I forget, how do they fare in his absence?
I can't remember how they fared.
No.
I think they had a
really
couple of
well.
results, but then it just showed the players loved them. Club loved them, but you just didn't know what you were going to get.
Jimmy, you'd wake up on a yacht, in a pitch dark yacht bedroom, naked, I think.
That's sinking, like the boat that he had when he was with TFC.
Yeah,
the leak.
Exactly.
Jarms, can I guess yours? Prime Muhammad Ali.
Oh, you know what? Yeah.
Or were you not going with that?
I hadn't even thought of one yet.
Oh.
but yeah, Wong, let's see how Muhammad Ali fares. Well, nowadays he'd destroy everyone. I love Usyk and all, but he'd destroy Usyk. I want to see him fight in this prime Tyson. That would be the fight, wouldn't it?
Ooh.
Two such different fighters. One is a pure boxer. one is a pure street fighter. That's the fight. I think, if I could think of any sport and what would be the perfect match or two opponents at any generation, it might be that. I mean, you can talk about the great Brazil teams against I don't know, you name the next great soccer team. AC Milan in the 80s, for example. I don't know. But I think it's Ali Tyson for me personally. That would be the fight. That would be the match, the occasion. Don't you think?
Yeah, pretty cool. I mean, when Lennox Lewis beat him, when Holyfield had his ear bit,
Yeah,
it was great drama and great heavyweights at that time. Maybe one of the best times for heavyweights. But it was Tyson post jail, post craziness. I think he wasn't managing his meds at the time, or maybe wasn't on meds and would go, bipolar on people and not in the ring and out of the ring. It was quite a spectacle, but we never saw Tyson at his best.
No, he was
after
in jail,
that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're thinking like late 80s Tyson.
Yeah,
he won the belt in 85, wasn't it? I think it was
86.
21. 86 was it? He was 21.
And he lost to Buster Douglas in like winter of 91, like in Japan, or 90. Sorry,
was it 90? Was it?
I think it was 90. I think it was like February or January of 90, or was it in December of 90?
I thought it was before then, just because I think it was in England when I lived in England that I could be wrong though. Still, anyway, Ali Tyson for me. That's a great one. Great one. Yeah.
I watched Tyson fight.
You what?
I saw him live. Yeah. In Manchester,
Really?
England. Yeah. We had a game we were playing against QPR, and right after the match, we flew up to Manchester and watched him. It was incredible. Just his presence when he came out of the tunnel walking towards the ring, just had that black robe up with it. It was just the creepiest thing in the world. And you could see, I think it was it Francis who was in
Charlie Francis? Not Charlie Francis. Jesus.
Julius. Isn't it Julius?
Julius Francis? Who are you talking about?
Charlie Francis with Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson's coach. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are you talking about? His opponent?
Yeah, his opponent. I think it was Julius Francis. And you could see he was terrified as Tyson was walking towards the ring. It didn't last long, but it was just great to see Mike Tyson fight. What an animal. I
love that. Using the word creepy. I get that. It must have been. Because his reputation just transcended everything, right?
Yeah.
And that this was
this aura, right?
An aura.
He did. He just as a killer, like a man that could absolutely destroy you. And everybody around was like, it was silent when he was walking out. And then you just feel the hairs on the back of your neck standing up.
Yeah.
So I can imagine what that guy was like in the ring, waiting for Tyson to come in.
Francis Ngannou.
No.
That's the guy, right?
No.
That's Tyson Fury. Of course, that's Fury. That's like 2 years ago.
Julius Francis.
Julius Fury. Okay, I don't remember that fight at all. But
and Jimmy, you've got your family has like a boxing pedigree. So, like, what about Tyson impressed you the most? I mean, obviously, we know as people on the outside, or I don't know anything about boxing, but he had this ferocity about him. But what about his technique and everything that he was in the ring impressed you, just to be right up close and to see him in person? What jumped out at you?
His power was off the chart, but his movement was ridiculous. Just the angles that he could throw punches.
I'm watching it right now.
On
YouTube. Yeah, the pre-game in the ring. That's Tyson. I mean, that's not at his best, perhaps, but you can feel that energy in that ring just from watching this.
And although Mike Tyson has zero education, he's such a well-read and very articulate and smart, tortured soul. He's such an enigma.
I find him very interesting and tortured. I think that was a good word.
And listening to, like, he knows, like, literature wise, like he can recite, Homer's Odyssey. He can recite like any sort of The Art of War, like so many. He's very well read, and I don't know if that started in prison or what, or maybe it's just because I don't think there's any athlete who's been as isolated as Mike Tyson. Like, he's such a manipulated, and like he's like, who else could be that? but polarizing and just such an enigma, but been through so much and under such a microscope and never had anybody, only ever had one person in his corner really, except now his wife. But before that, he had his trainer who saved his life. But other than that, everyone's just trying to make money off of it, right? And that's the same with a lot of athletes, right? But I mean, this Mike specifically, it's like nobody really gave a shit if he went down or how it happened. But like, he's a very interesting cat. Very, very interesting.
I was going to ask Mike, what's your favorite book?
I would say Goodnight Moon is a very good book. It's underrated, and basically, it's just a book about what's going on in the room. It's like it's sort of lazy. It's just a woman who I can't remember the name who wrote it. She's a wonderful writer. She was sitting in a room while her child was going to sleep, and she said, "I'm just going to write down what's happening in the room because I didn't have a book to read to my child at the time, and there was bunnies as well, and the cat and some mush, lots of mush."
Good night.
Sounds like a fan of Daniel Steele.
which was a pseudonym, I believe, for someone else. I think it was for Stephen King. I believe Daniel Steele and Stephen King are the same person.
Oh, and Richard Dawkins?
Richard Bachman.
Bachman. Who's Richard Dawkins? He's a scientist,
Richard
right?
Dawkins is an atheist philosopher. Yeah.
Oh,
very fitting.
Very good day to right.
Well, we're talking about Reborn. How many times has Tyson kind of reinvented himself, right?
Well, a guy that is so controversial and not just accused of, but charged with such heinous crimes in the past, but now it's become this
found guilty
favorite
of
son.
Yeah.
It's redemption arc dubs you like talking about. Holy crap!
Well, if you guys haven't watched the show, and this is all for the listeners as well, Mike Tyson Mysteries. It's on Netflix. It's the greatest thing. It's the greatest show of all time. And it's
mysteries.
Have you never seen Mike Tyson Mysteries?
What is it?
It's think of Scooby-Doo starring Mike Tyson and Norm Macdonald playing a pigeon who used to be a man, and then a ghost pugilist, and then his adopted Asian daughter. That's the start, and they're always solving mysteries, and it's the weirdest, coolest show in the world. Yeah, it's the best thing in the world.
I want my pseudonym to be Ghost Pugilist.
Yeah.
Holy, I'm watching it. Even Daphne looks like Daphne from. Yeah. He's got a tattoo.
God.
This is crazy.
Oh, it's
and
incredible.
Normie's in it. I love Norm Macdonald.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and he plays a pigeon who's always trying to have sex with women, and he does. It's incredible. And the animation is that like just garbage stuff from. It's so good.
Little baby, but you told me stop living for yourself. I hate to be a bitch, but you know that, right? So,
Dubs, who were you going to say? Yeah. You were next on the before Jimmy.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that it was any athlete, so maybe that would have been different. But I thought it was a footballer.
It doesn't matter, the athletes.
Yeah, that's not what I was implying. I'm just saying I would have cast a wider net in terms of jogging the old memory banks and thinking about somebody that I would have loved to have seen live or like dropped into this era. That's what's really interesting to me, what you're talking about, Sharms. It's these players like a Pele at their peak or a Maradona at their peak and dropping them into the modern game to see how they would fare, to kind of put to bed all those arguments about, well, they wouldn't, not to say that people say that about Maradona and Pele. I think that they, would be incredible footballers no matter what era they were in, but like great teams over the years and then pitting them against one another and just to see what would happen. Like that would be another pod perhaps on its own. But my father-in-law, who died in 2004, like one of his heroes, and he grew up playing football in Scotland, and his older brother Pat played in the Scottish Premier League, and so their heroes were Jinky Johnson for Celtic, and a huge Celtic family, and then also Puskás. So I would love to see the Hungarian footballer and like legendary figure, to see how he would fare now, right? Like that would be really incredible. So a lot of these people that I didn't necessarily know growing up in a household that didn't have cable, didn't have a lot of exposure to the European game or just football in general, Like my earliest memories really of watching games was the 86 World Cup that Canada participated in. So like just all of this lore, all of this history and heritage exposed to a little bit later on in my life. So I'd be really curious to see like a giant of the game in his own era, to see how Puskás would do now. That would be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, and he was so far back. Most of those highlights are in black and white.
Mhm.
Those great goals and those great Hungary teams. At least with Pele, he kind of literally broke through the color barrier in many ways. But one was on TV.
You're right.
And that's why Brazil popped those yellow and blue kits suddenly in I think 70, wasn't it? I think it was 70 was when, or 72 World Cup was when the first color TV broadcast sporting events. And that's why Brazil became this thing. With him obviously leading the charge there. But yeah, that would be a good Puskás. Some of those goals you see in those grainy black and white videos, my God, they're incredible. Even that Hungary team in general, right? They dominated football, international football.
Yep.
When the World Cup was first born. I don't know really a thing about them. There's books out there all about those Hungarian teams. I should probably at some point pick one up.
Very good goulash.
Great goulash. Not great politics these days.
No.
Holy
On the
shit.
politics, but
yeah,
still very good goulash when I was in Budapest back in the 90s.
Let me guess. Had sex with a Hungarian girl in Budapest once.
No, Australian.
Wonga, who's your dead athlete?
I have two, but the first one is just because I would like to see how he would fare with modern training and how athletes are specialized, but it would be Jesse Owens. Just to see how this guy who dominated back in front of Hitler, 1936, I think it was the year, and how he would fare nowadays with the same type of training that, as all these top athletes have, because he was kind of a Carl Lewis without the drugs, where he won the long jump, he won the 4x1, I think he won the 200, I'm not sure, but I think so, and he won the 100. So literally it would be how he would compare it, much like Dubs, but on a individual track athlete level.
I think, because that's a great conversation to have about how modern technology and training methods and supplements and tracks and kits, boots, spikes, how they've improved sport. I like to think that the great athletes of their generation would be great athletes today with the modern.
Or maybe they wouldn't.
involved.
Maybe this is back to what with Jimmy's with Maradona. Someone getting into, oh shit, I didn't like, maybe cocaine wasn't available back in 1936. And, if there was a plethora, this would be too deep for him, to go, oh, I can't turn that down. All that kind of stuff.
Imagine Maradona with cell phones nowadays.
So you mean because he could order the coke to his house?
DoorDash it?
Yes, exactly. DoorDash. I would like lots of coke, pizza, and hookers, please.
I'm reading Bob Probert's biography right now, former NHLer, Red Wings, Blackhawks. Man, that dude. He
CTE.
Did he have? Was he diagnosed with CTE?
I think so. Yeah.
Well, he died of a heart attack, right?
Right.
But what he just lived hard on and off the ice, man. He had some big issues, but it's some read. He was a pretty basic guy, it seems like, but liked his booze, liked his coke, liked his girls, like beating the shit out of people on the ice. Interesting. I'm only halfway through, so maybe there's a redemption out there as well. At some point.
The other thing is,
yet.
You could, with the position he played as enforcer, he could have been doing, hey, I'm going to have a beer before the game, do a couple of bumps during the game.
He said he did coke before one game. He said, and he goes, but he said I had no energy. It was brutal. There's pictures of me hanging over the boards, looking exhausted. But he's also he scored 30 goals. He was an all-star as well. He was a top
good hands.
Player. Yeah,
good hands
really
overall.
good hands. Yeah. So maybe
that's the one.
Robert.
That's the one game. I mean, there might be more, but like my brain goes to it. Like you could drop an impactful player, like a generational player, into the modern game, and I think they would still do fine or still be remarkable in this era. But like hockey has evolved to a point where you could make the argument that the enforcer no longer has a place.
Yeah.
Right. Depending on your opponent, depending on what's at stake. And in playoffs, everything goes out the window. So maybe there's a place there to like make a statement or, to cause the other team to shuffle their lineup, depending if you have the home team and like you've got the last change and all of those implications. Right. But I think less and less they are somebody that's really targeted when you're building your roster.
Yeah. Unless you can do both.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
If you can't find that guy who is intimidating and physical and can punch, but can also give you 15, 20 goals a year, that's like the Tom Wilson of the world.
Yeah.
That's perfect. He could do both
Mhm.
roles if he chose to, but there's so few of them. They're unicorns.
Yeah.
But it's interesting how games have changed, because I was thinking about Shaquille O'Neal, what they always say is the most dominant basketball player just because of his pure size, trash talker, talent, all matched into one. But would he have a spot other than being a big center? When you have, would he have a spot in modern day basketball with the 3-pointer? Because you have a guy like Steph Curry who can shoot 100 straight threes, right? And you're getting 1.5 more points every shot, or like 1.5 times more points. So it's like, would he be as dominant? Because hey, I want that 2 points, but does it translate?
Well,
Jokic
Sorry,
is almost his size, and he can crush threes.
Jokic can shoot.
Yeah, but I
But
mean,
he's a
Shaq
unicorn,
can
right?
shoot.
Shaq did
couldn't
take a
shoot.
3 once.
Yeah, Shaq couldn't shoot. He couldn't shoot free throws. He couldn't shoot threes. He couldn't shoot anywhere outside a 4-foot, 6-foot region, right?
Are there more threes now than there were in his generation?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Like,
So why is that? Are they calling more of them? Is that why?
because people have specialized and it's become a game of threes, which is actually one of the complaints about it.
It's killing
Because
the
it's
game.
not nearly as fun. Yeah.
It's killing the game. The NBA's in bits at the moment.
Yeah.
Just because of the style of play, they're losing ship and numbers are down.
Yeah.
But for me, look, you talk about the hard man in hockey, and now with the 3-pointers, do you need the big man in top? But I think the game is always changing.
Right.
And I think you'll see the 3-pointer, and then you watch in a couple of years, now it's going to be back to the big man driving into the paint. I think you'll probably see that enforcer role coming back in, but I think it's going to be that modern kind of hybrid where it's going to be a tough guy, but can also play now and has a little bit of finesse that can control the game.
Like a more Messier kind of guy.
Yeah, then you had soccer the same, right? They got rid of the big target man. They went with a false 9. Now you're slowly starting to see big target players come back into the game now. And, I think it's a cycle that you go through. Everybody's trying to get advantage, change the game up, but then let's go back to the way it was because everybody's playing this way. We need to be different. So I think you're just in an era right now where there's a lot of change throughout these games or these sports, but I think eventually it'll come back to what it was before.
And the catalyst for that is always success, right? Like your Nottingham Forest, right? So you've got a guy like Chris Wood. And so like you have the success, he's a prolific scorer and he's doing it as this archetypal 9. So then that people are like, shit, like maybe we have that type of profile in our roster. Maybe we can adapt ourselves slightly, kind of shape our identity, not to just be like this, but to have that in our locker, to be a little bit more tactically fluid. And then the shift starts to happen gradually, but it's provoked by success, either of an individual or a team.
Yeah. Well, you look even Man City with Pep. When Pep had Barcelona, the team was small, ticky-tacky, right? False 9s. And then all of a sudden with Man City, now he's got Holling, 6'5" up top, powerful, right? Chris Wood's like your typical old school number 9, gets up top, holds the ball up well, poacher goals. So it is changing.
Yeah. What is a perfect variation of the sport? I'm not sure. I'm seeing a lot of Battle of Ontario highlights right now from the early 2000s, Leafs, Ottawa. And I remember it so well. It was great.
Great hockey.
Darcy Tucker. It was so nasty. It was just, it went above and beyond good sportsmanship. It was at times brutal, but also just compelling. And the energy, it's amazing. And you wonder what's going to happen. We saw in the Four Nations that Canada-US game had evolved. But people love that shit.
And that's where Tom Wilson's name came up again as somebody who should have been included on that roster, right?
Thank God he wasn't. He's American, right? Or is he Canadian?
Oh, I think he's Canadian, isn't he?
Oh, is he Canadian? Okay, in that case, yes, for sure. Although they won without him, so yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. Tom Wilson sounds like he's American to me.
He
He
does.
plays in Washington. That's why, maybe. Are you looking that up?
Yeah. Except I looked up just Wilson, and then I'm rated to tennis. That's not a good Google search.
Tom Wilson, I always remember, is from
Wilson!
Back to the
With that tennis ball.
Was that one? Sorry.
Tom Wilson is from Back to
Yeah.
the Future.
He's Canadian.
Oh, he's also a Beach Boy, isn't he?
I don't know if that is a Beach Boy.
He's
He might
also
be
the-
one name.
a Canadian artist from the band Junk House in the 90s, and also
Junk
Yeah.
House. Get the funk out.
And-
Was that Junk House?
Wilson.
I don't think so.
He's also
Wilson.
volleyball.
Is there?
He's a
Yeah.
volleyball. Yeah,
He's a volleyball Wilson.
great accent.
It's
Had
Biff.
sex with Tom.
That's
Tom
Biff.
Hanks.
Biff is Tom Wilson.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, JC, any dead athletes you want to bring back?
Yes. Well, there's two. They're kind of different though. The first one would be, it's not a dead athlete, and please don't take this the wrong way, but it's someone who was
Or
forced.
do.
No, please don't. But it's someone
It's like
who was
saying no
forced to
offense.
retire. No, it's someone who was forced to retire. They're very much alive, and they're incredibly successful and awesome in what they have become. But it's Magic Johnson, and to see what if Magic Johnson didn't have the diagnosis and didn't have to retire, how long would he have gone? How many records would he have broken?
Mhm.
How would the game have changed of basketball if he had not had to been essentially forced to retire in 92?
How
Or
how
91.
old was he when he retired?
I think he was late 20s.
Oh, was he
Oh,
that young?
wow.
So he would have had, I mean, he couldn't have, or 30 maybe, but he would have had, I'm going to say 7, 8, maybe more years of like solid ball. And just to see what that would have been like to, and the other one would have been
What about
Buddy
someone
Holly.
that's dead?
Oh, Buddy Holly.
Yeah, and Richie Valens.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Buddy Holly
And-
was incredible. I love Buddy Holly. Not that
Yeah,
I remember
he
him,
was-
but he was amazing.
He
What about the
did,
Big Bopper? Don't forget about him.
Big
Oh.
Bopper was a very,
Hello, baby.
he was a goalkeeper.
And Dilly Lace got a pretty face and a ponytail.
And,
Pegasus,
down.
oh, Pegasus. Pegasus.
Did you guys ever see the real picture of Richard Valenzuela? Richie Valens?
yes,
He
yes.
looked like he was like 48 years
85 years old.
old. Yeah,
We are aging better these days, aren't we?
we are.
You see, like from the 50s and prior to that, these guys who are our age, and they look they're ancient.
You ever seen a picture of Babe Ruth? He was like 23 and he just looked like he'd already passed away.
They'd seen some shit, those boys. That's why
Yeah.
we've lived very easy lives. Let's be honest, compared to them. I think we've gone around the gamut here as far as.
I want to read one comment though. It's a good one. It
Oh, no,
covers
yeah,
a lot.
we've got more stuff I want to get to. Just
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
go ahead.
This is from Jazz Cats. Got my tickets to Inter Miami. I also plan on seeing a lot of Rise home games in the most beautiful stadium in BC, natural gas, and well served by rapid transit. However, I'm pessimistic about a new stadium built in the PNE grounds, given the lack of rapid transit that will never serve that area. Last point. I wish the host of this chat would do a better job of bringing all the guests in on the discussion, rather than just one and a little bit of dubbed. Apart from that, it was a good discussion.
Which one was
So,
that?
well, that's the thing. I wanted to be able to bash all you guys, but it was me. So, Jazz Cats, thank you. It was fair critique. I don't usually host. So when I do, I probably ramble on to fill dead space because that's my role usually. But
No, don't apologize. You were great that day. I think they're referring to the time we had Asa on, right?
yes.
Yeah, you were great, Warner. And it's
Oh, you
also
s-
probably what we're posting, right? Is just a snippet of the broader podcast,
That's
right?
fair.
So everybody weighed in probably around that, but it was just the focus chat.
It was
Maybe
from the
spoke more
YouTube.
than everybody
So
else.
Dubs, you know, your defense of me is, I appreciate it so much. It's heartfelt. I do, you know.
So here comes the critique because you said natural gas instead of natural grass.
I got that as well. I thought, is that
I'm
new sponsor?
dyslexic. I am
Is that new
dyslexic.
sponsor, the Natural Gas Stadium. I
I have one as well from YouTube.
Oh, awesome.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but it was I was excited, but then a little bit disappointed with it, right? So I want this guy to elaborate if he can, okay? And
It's like your lovemaking.
It's from Fumy's time being on the show, and it says, "Wow, can't believe I'm watching Ian Hume again after so many years. I remember seeing his ATK team win the ISL Cup so many years back, sitting in front of the fireplace." And then he just ends it with, "Now I'm in his country as a teacher." But I wanted to know the fireplace. Like, why did you have to tell us you were sitting in front of the fireplace watching a football match?
Was he in India? Do they have fireplaces? You went
Yeah,
to India.
You need a fireplace in India.
He was. But did he
Who's the guy's name? What's his name on? What's his name on?
A bowl of cereal? Like, what
Yeah.
were you doing? His name
What's
is
his name there? Yeah.
Fuzzy Nomad.
All right. Jimmy wants to know. Here's the question of the week. Jimmy wants to know, what were you doing in front of that fireplace?
Yeah.
And was it really a tandoor?
You can't just tell it sitting in front of a fireplace.
I love a good tandoor. By the way,
too.
the Indian audience has suddenly discovered that show.
Weird.
It was really struggling there for a while, that video, for some reason. And we're up to 750 views now. And that's, last time I looked, it was about 23 or something.
Right.
So that bodes well. The reason, it's not the reason why we did it, but it's kind of the reason why we did it, to get big numbers.
Well, we also like having Hume on.
No,
and
Hume's
it is
brilliant.
an area of expertise, right?
Yeah. And it actually is very interesting, the support that the Indian Super League gets that we have no idea about. It's enormous, that support. I do want to quickly touch on Manchester United. I mean, I'm not sure if you saw the game or caught the highlights.
Watch the highlights, yeah.
It's
Europa
unbelievable. That's vintage United finding a way, scoring 2 goals late in extra time to advance past Lyon to the semi-finals of the Europa League. I'm so happy for Harry Maguire as well. He's so maligned, and his celebration was so understated for such a massive goal. It was typical Harry Maguire. Just kind of ran to the sidelines, a very basic knee slide, and a bit of a come on. But a lot of guys would have gone far beyond that. It was good for. I mean, listen, I apologize before saying this, but good for United.
Oh my God! I was going to ask you about this.
No, I still hate them. But
you don't. You need them as a
do.
foil, a little bit as a foil, don't you?
It would be nice to win this year, as my team's about to do.
Batman needs a Joker, Sharms.
Yeah, you're right.
Everybody needs a foil.
And in order to be a foil, you have to be successful. You have to be in the conversation. And I was reading last week where we were talking about how poor Spurs have been. Sorry, JC. Big Ange is probably going to get fired. And then also United has just been awful this year, right? And to see them do that, I had goosebumps watching United come back and beat Lyon. So it is it evokes the United of old, where you just knew in stoppage time and they had a corner kick, they were going to do it. They were going to deliver on it. And so is this them salvaging their season? I think it might be.
Well, they better win the Europa League to salvage this.
But that's what you have left. League is done. You've failed. You're well below the bar that fans expected, what your manager expected, what the players expected. Right. And then I think it was the commentator said the broadest shoulders in the modern game, and Bruno Fernandes as he steps up to take that penalty. Right. Yeah, so as much as I don't love him, I find him to be, what's the word? Petulant. He's a little baby, but he's brilliant. Right. And then he has absolutely seen this team on to this success. And other players showing up, you're saying, Maguire, and he also he played a long ball to Dallo, and Dallo brilliantly shields the ball, gets in and converts and scores. So having success elsewhere in Europe is all that's left for them, and this is them potentially doing it.
And listen, if they can win this thing, and there's still a long way to go, is that the jump start they need, not just on the pitch, but financially, for what has to be a massive summer for them. Has to be. You have to clear this stuff out, right?
Remind me, you win the Europa Championship, you immediately are in UCL the next year, correct?
Mm-hmm. That's the only route in, isn't it?
So that's some pretty big bucks waiting. There's a big pot of gold at the end of there. if
Well,
they're able to.
Mm-hmm. Is
Yes,
this to go
but-
back to that quote, Sharms? Is this the legacy? This is
It's more
Amarim
than a
playing the
result.
long game. That's right. It's more than just a result.
It is more than the result. Well, Spurs too, right? They're still in there as well. If
Yeah.
Spurs win the Champions League, if they get a trophy, but win the Europa League in advance, does Ange survive?
Yeah. But with all the coefficients and a success from the English teams, like wasn't there some sort of scenario where there could be 11 English teams qualifying for Europe?
In Europe, is
Yeah.
it 11?
Yeah.
All I care about is that Bodo Glimt in the semi-finals because it's just a great name to Bodo Glimt. Isn't that great?
Sounds
They
like
beat
an
last
abnormal
year.
growth.
They lost last year, but they won a penalty. I discovered a Bodo Glimt on my ass.
I think that's what was on Jimmy's eye all last year.
Maybe it was, Jimmy. Go back to the doctor. I think I discovered what it was, Doc. It's a Bodo Glimt.
I got a glimpse of it. Check it out.
All right. Okay. Well, so much for the short podcast.
Right?
40
That was pretty
minutes in.
short. 42
40, yeah.
minutes.
Yeah, I guess compared to usual. Yeah.
Did we cross all the I's?
Are we good? Are we good to say farewell to everyone?
Sure.
Well, we get-
Put a nail in
Easter is what we should be saying.
well, listen,
too.
but make sure you check out our social feeds tomorrow, Saturday. We'll be at the AFC Toronto Montreal Roses match.
Promo that.
And there'll be lots of pre-game stuff there as well, apparently. We're going to probably hit a pub, a bar, some of us, and get the vibe. So
Yeah,
check
so
out
we're
our
reaching out
channels
to
for that.
AFC Toronto Supporters Club to let us know where you're going to be at so we can meet up, and we're going to be doing some social media.
BDC
Do you know what they're
and
called,
Claudio
Wong?
will tell us.
The AFC Toronto supporters?
I think
No.
it's the Vermilion Vanguard. It's a good name,
Ooh, very good.
Vermilion.
I think.
Vermilion's their color.
Oh, is that what
Yeah.
it's called?
Yeah.
I love that.
I think
color.
that's a
Lovely
great
color.
name.
It's a beautiful color and a great name.
Double
Yeah.
V's.
Hey. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys as we wrap. Got home super late last night. Like landed at like 12:20-ish. And I woke up, in movies where it's from the protagonist's perspective and it's the camera and like it's the slow blinks as the people in front of you the faces are slowly coming into focus. I wake up after being lightly jostled to 4 flight attendants, like their concern all over their faces. Amy, and I've got my earbuds in and I'm like, oh my God, like so disoriented in like this fog. And they thought they were going to have to call an ambulance because we'd arrived, we'd landed, everybody had deplaned and I was still sleeping. And like Miss Walsh, and they had to look up who I was, check my baggage, and they were calling me and I couldn't hear them because my earbuds were in. And then they had to like actually poke me to wake up. And I was super apologetic, but they were just relieved that I didn't need emergency services because I was like dead to the world.
Were you a window seat? Aisle seat? Where
Window
were you?
seat.
Okay,
Window.
so your neighbors got out already. That was fine. You were the last person on the plane
Everybody
to depart?
left. Yeah.
Dubs also wore female Depends, so she didn't have to get up.
Yeah.
She just sat
Right.
there in her own filth, sleeping.
Yeah.
You must have been tired, eh? Because it's
So
so hard to
tired.
sleep deep in a plane.
And like I never really sleep on a plane. We've talked about this before, but I just absolutely crashed. And they were they were
Better
probably
you than the
annoyed that I
plane.
was- Oh no.
That's true.
You were dying in plain sight?
Mm.
No,
Nice.
wasn't bad.
It's
JC
pretty
said
good.
better.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm glad
Well,
you woke up, Dubs.
Yes, we're glad you
Very,
woke
very,
up.
Very
too.
Christian of you.
Yes, it wouldn't have been
Like that
40
Into
minutes.
the world.
Surprise, surprise.
Rose again. They resurrected you.
Well, all right, everyone. Well, that's Footy Prime. Like I said, check out our social feeds this weekend. We're back on Monday otherwise. And make sure you subscribe to this little podcast of ours and YouTube channel. It really does help. So we implore you. Bye-bye. Cheers for listening.
Happy Easter, all.
Nailed it.